We're live. Hi, everybody. Sorry with the 1 minute wait.
Computer stuff, you know?
Computer stuff. We're in between. I turned this down. Hi, everybody. Sorry,
I'm listening to myself do my drumming.
I turned it to the very top. We're in between computers right now, so our kind of normal setup is a little bit different.
A little bit all over the place at the moment, but it's still time to rapidly review things. I am Mike.
I am Nick.
We're the Brothers Murph, and it's time to talk about everything we played in January.
Yeah, which was quite a lot, actually.
It was.
I went on a little vacay, a little week-long vacay to Seattle.
Nick got approved for some time off.
I did.
Your time off request
I
was
appreciate
approved.
you, yes.
And yeah, you went and mostly just hung out and gamed, which was the plan.
It was great. I didn't do anything. It was amazing.
Dude, and you played some beef.
We did play a lot of beef. We'll talk about it indeed.
Yeah, so we played, I think it was 29 new games.
Yeah, 292. I think the title of this one's slightly wrong. We forgot about a game we added last second here.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Kind of a biggie, which I thought
one.
January was weirdly quick and long. I was like, that was in January? And Jimmy was like, yeah, I was like,
wow.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Yeah, so we hope everyone is having a good start to the year, all things considered. At least board gaming wise, we hope you're having a good start to the year. And long live Kendrick Lamar. All right, with that.
Long live Kendrick Lamar, baby.
We're going to get into it.
What a good one.
Amazing. Yeah, but we have some games to talk about. So as always with this, and actually kind of a new way of doing this, we are going to talk about all of the new to us games first. So
there's only like 28 or 29, which for us is actually not necessarily that many.
Yeah, but considering the gravity of a lot of them, it's pretty impressive. So 29 new to us games, and then what we're going to do is we're going to do the super duper rapid review style. Quickly listing off everything we played that is something that we played before, because the general idea, for the most part, is that if we're replaying it, it's because we don't hate it. Yeah, we did. So you kind of get it, and we can just quickly say what we played. We did this in our rapid review of the whole year, which was like 600 games. Sure. And it went really well, just going straight through it. I will say we'll be looking over here sometimes, because usually our OBS stuff is in our monitors here, but again, we're in between computers, so it's over here now. So occasionally, we'll be looking over there and look at that, and when we do that part, we'll be staring over there. Yeah. Because that's where our games that we are on are over there. So yeah, we'll basically just, if we need to stop and talk about something, we can just stop and talk about it. But we'll probably just list them, because here's the thing. It's fun to let it rip. If we played them again, it's because we like them. So there's not really much point in reviewing. We don't need to review Captain Flip for the billionth time. It's still a banger. But yeah, pop in chat and say hello. Let us know in chat where you're coming in from. Where are you hailing from? And let's get on to it, yeah? Yeah, let's do it. All right, sorry. So again, starting with all the new things in alphabetical, hopefully mostly order. You got to play Future Caravan. I did. So you'd played this at BGG fall. Yeah. And then we were at Barnes & Noble, because we were doing errands and various things. We were doing other different computer stuff. Yes, and but yeah, and we stopped by Barnes & Noble, and this was there, and we played it, and it's very fun. It's good, right? It's good, yeah. It's I really like it. Mostly simultaneous play. Yeah, completely. Where you're going to be moving your little caravan kind of across this board throughout the game, and landing on certain areas to interact with different things, and you're rolling dice and allocating dice to do different actions and score points and gain resources and you're kind of moving your caravan along this path. You're getting cards. You can then play those cards with bread. Yeah. And then those cards will also have dice placement spots, and it's just this engine builder where you build this kind of thing. Our game was kind of skewed because I forgot the rule that there is a tableau limit. So I had a whole bunch more cards than I frankly should have. You went over by a couple. You end up with, you can have a max of 12 cards, and that kind of becomes the engine that you can then use. Yeah, because a lot of the cards are useful. So you're like, and once you get a card down, you can't ever get rid of it. So it's really good. It's like a really nice engine builder. Pretty chill. I really, really enjoy it. Yeah. Ryan Lockett art, so it's great. Yeah, I thought it was really, really enjoyable, and I totally get why you were into it back in the fall, and I'm glad that we have it and stuff, because it's just kind of a nice, like, put dice here, and you get cards that obviously hopefully synergize with each other, and it's fun to move your little caravan around and stuff. I think it's a great little engine builder. Yeah. Give it a check out if you can. It's great. Give it a check out. You played Exploding Kittens, which we technically have played before. But it's been a very long time. This was the first thing we ever backed on Kickstarter. It was, yeah. Way back when. It was like the biggest Kickstarter, board game Kickstarter for a long time. I mean, that kind of, really kicked off like the idea of like kickstarting board games, I feel like. To some degree, yeah. I mean, But this is on Board Game Arena, and I played it with some folks that
Let's go.
Dan and Sarah and Karen. And it's just silly fun and stuff. I'm an unkillable cat. I cannot be killed. Everyone tries. We played a couple games. Everyone started gunning for me because they're like, man, this guy can't get blown up. I said, dude, I got 900 lives. So I'm a cat that always lands on my feet.
Yeah.
Like toast with butter. I would land butter side down every time, baby. So
that's true.
I could not be killed, and it was very fun. It's very fun for what it is. It's a silly.
It's very silly. It's just Russian roulette.
It's just, it's silly, take that-y, very kind of mass market-y and stuff. But it's like, it is fun. So I get why it's been so very popular.
Yeah, I mean, it has been incredibly successul.
Yeah.
And we'll continue so because it's a fun little mass market.
This is the first time I played that, and I don't even know.
We got it very, very early on into our board gaming. It's been at least like 6 or 7 years since we played it. At least. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was kind of fun. It's kind of fun to play it again.
Yeah, heck yeah. Let's go. You got to play Fishing Lesson.
I did. This is one of the kind of solo button shy Scott Alms games where you are trying to get certain cards with fish face up and face down to match kind of your lesson and stuff. So you might need like 3 trout and 2 of this other thing. And then you have this kind of like little tableau of cards that represent like you're the boat on the top and the cards that you're kind of where you're fishing and stuff. And you sort of like have a programmed situation with cards that are going to move your boat, flip over cards or flip them back face down. And you have to, everything's mandatory. So you want to kind of try to plan it out so that your boat is going to stop and flip over the right things and flip down the right things, so you only have the exact recipe you need to complete this card and stuff. And there's various like family members that represent the different kind of challenges and stuff. And it's all you're remembering your times with your grandfather teaching you how to fish and stuff. It was cool. It was kind of challenging because of the mandatory nature of everything to like not. It's like, I don't want to go over here and flip this up because like I need this to stay face down because I know it has the wrong fish or it's going to put too many of the kind of thing. And so it was a nice little solo challenge. Yeah. And it's cool that there's various kind of goals and stuff within the game. So Button Shy is always interesting and impressive in that way.
Always. Yeah, it's astonishing how many games they have and how they've been able to just keep it up. I mean, it's really, really impressive.
It's very clever. I think it's a fun way to have to design, which is why we did it in our Kickstarter last year. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's a fun way. Indeed. I'm going to play Flatiron.
Tell me about it, please.
I picked up this game and a couple other games when I was in Seattle. It's good. It's kind of got some Pagoda vibes, not completely, but it's some stuff where you're basically trying to not set up your opponent. You're building the Flatiron, which is that weird skinny building in New York that's like in between a couple different spots.
Sort of like a triangle.
It's like this really skinny triangle. And so you're basically building that. So each player is an architect, and there are a couple different like streets that are, again, around the Flatiron. And you can have to move your architect to a new spot on the kind of like central board, and then you can do a couple different things. You can either buy one of those street cards, which will then tuck into your board. You can either tuck it on the top of your board, so it's only showing the top half of the card, or on the bottom of your board, only showing the bottom half. The top halves are going to be like, they're all going to have actions for the most part, but they're going to be like weaker actions. The bottom ones are going to be stronger actions, but you're playing on each street on your little board, but you also, certain things have like thumbs up and thumbs down, so you want more thumbs up than thumbs down, and the ones that are stronger usually give you more like reputation loss, basically, for the most part. So you can do that and get these things and kind of build up, or when you're at that street, because the streets where you're getting these cards are the same streets on your little board, you can also run that street on your board, which means you'll do all the actions from top to bottom. So it's one of those things where you want to put things where the order of them matters.
I like that.
So they might give you money, they might give you these pillars, and these pillars, kind of pagoda style, you will put onto the board.
It physically looks like pagoda because you build like a little stacked
you're building pillars and then putting a floor on it, and one of the spots is where you can put a floor. It doesn't really work with pagoda any other way, but a lot of it is like you don't want to leave like 3 pillars there because then the other person can just build a floor there.
Yeah, right.
So it's this interesting situation where, and also like the building the floor thing is tied to one of your streets. So like, I was playing with our friend Keith, and I was like, I don't want Keith to build this, so I'm going to go to this spot because that's where his floor building action is over there. So he won't be able to go there till I move off. So like there's this interesting kind of cat and mouse where you're trying to block each other because the actions are on different spots on our boards. So so it's this interesting kind of thing. And so you're building the different floors and trying to get up and get points. It was really fun. It was really cool, but it was very like kind of tactical.
Yeah, it's 2-player, right? 1 or 2 player?
I think maybe it might be more. No, I think it's 4.
Oh, okay.
But it was really fun. I really liked it a lot. I think you'll really like it a lot. And I'm excited to play it with you because I thought it was good.
I'm excited. Kurt asked in chat real quick if we're going to Dice Tower West because they want to learn Scholars. Yes, and we can probably make that happen.
Probably, yeah.
Super down to play it as always.
We'll talk about it later.
We sure will.
Yeah, we played a bunch of expansions. Yeah,
yeah, we did.
Yeah, it was good. I really like Flatiron a lot. I thought it was
Santiago art,
and Weapons of Santiago art, which is always a good thing.
Yep.
I got to play the Gallerist.
Keep it going, man.
I got to play the Gallerist.
All right,
which I think we're playing again soon here.
Well, on our Patreon currently, we have a poll, as we do every month now.
Or our $10 and up patrons get to choose a game.
$10 and up patrons get to choose a game for us to stream. And it's usually something that's been on our want to playlist for a while. And currently the Gallerist is winning, but pretty handily.
We'll see. That'll be on Friday if it ends up happening. But nonetheless, I got to play the Gallerist because I was hanging out with our good friend Charlie, and he knew it, and so he knew that I wanted to play it, and so I learned it so that I can now teach Mike. And so this is cool. It's a game where you are art.
You're running a gallery, right?
You're running a gallery. You're kind of I can't think of the word.
You're a gallerist, I guess?
You're a gallerist, I guess.
Art curator?
Yeah. That's what I'm trying to think. Curator. People want to say connoisseur. I'm like, well, yeah, but you're a curator, more or less.
Sure.
So basically, you're discovering various artists. You can then like promote those artists. You can buy those artists' work to have in your gallery. And then there are these 3 different color meeples. There's like brown meeples, which are investors. There's pink meeples, which are like VIP guests. And then there are white meeples, which are collectors. And so they're kind of in this central plaza, and everyone's galleries are like around the plaza. And then you can do these different actions to essentially move them. You're getting these tickets, and the tickets will be like a pink ticket, and that'll let you move a pink meeple, and you can move them into your lobby and then eventually into your gallery. And then from there, you can kind of do different things with them where you can like sell a piece of art to them and stuff like that. And then depending on what you're trying to go for, the investors will give you a lot of money. The VIP people will give you a lot of influence, things like that. Cool. And so you're kind of like working this engine, but it's got that gallerist thing where when you leave, because it's kind of got the Kanban thing where you have your main worker and you have to go to a new spot, a new action every single time.
You're kind of bopping around, right?
But you can leave behind an assistant, which means if someone else then goes to the spot with your assistant, you essentially get to do a couple of choices of a couple different actions that you can do, which is kind of nice because you can kind of leave these little bombs where it's like, I know Mike's going to want to go promote this artist, so I'm going to leave this person here, and if you bump me out, basically, I get to do some stuff. It was really, really cool. And then you have like some goals to go for at the end of the game where you're like, oh, I want to have like 2, sculptures and a painting and stuff. So you can kind of go for a little bit of set collection depending on what you get. It's really cool. I liked it a lot. It's not my favorite Lacerda game. It's kind of like in the middle right now after one play, but I did really enjoy it. I like the theme. The
theme is cool.
It's very, very cool. And yeah, I really liked it a lot. I'm excited to show it to you. I think you'll also enjoy it. I think it'll kind of be in that middle for you. Yeah, so the Gallerist was very good.
I'm down.
I liked it a lot.
Nice.
You played Goldblivion?
Goldblivion! This is a deck building game on Board Game Arena that Matthew Jude, dearest Matej J.
Oh, I love him so much. I love him so much. Go subscribe to Yesland.
Yes, please do. Yeah, Matthew's doing a bunch of travel right now, actually, speaking of. So please go watch that. Yesland Travel. I don't know how he came across this game, but he invited me to a game of it on BJ. Said it's a kind of the art, as you can see right there, it's kind of weird, cartoony, silly art and stuff. But it's a little deck building game where you're going to be, purchasing cards, which are going to give you more purchase power, potentially to buy, better cards and stuff like that. There's a lot of like kind of classic. Like fantasy tropes and stuff. So like some cards will be elves, others will be dwarves, and this one might give you 1 gold for every elf symbol you've played already. So you want to kind of like, play your cards in a certain order. A lot of classic stuff like that. There's also the ability to do combat and kind of fight these things to get rewards, and you are trying to essentially gain gold bars. That are your victory points. It's a race to, I think, 10 or 7 or something like that to trigger the end of the game. So you can always just spend 7 of your like gold nuggets to buy a gold bar, or you can buy better cards, and there's like buildings which can kind of tap once per round. And it just has like a bunch of fun little stuff. So he and I played like 3 or 4 games.
Cool.
And it's a really fun. It's kind of perfect. It's on Board Game Arena because I'm like, I don't need to own this.
Right, yeah.
But I really enjoy playing it, so it's nice to have it in have access to it.
Yeah.
But it is a fun little deck building game. Which there aren't as many of now, just like kind of
pure
like
deck builders?
pretty much just a pure deck builder.
They've kind of always gotten acclimated into other games. Yeah, which is fine, but yeah.
Yeah, so I really enjoy it, and the kind of the ramp up of the, as you get better and better cards was cool. So yeah, I enjoyed it a lot.
Radical.
Cute game for sure.
Radical. You had to play. This is the new the something El Paso.
Great Western Trail El Paso.
Yeah.
This is sort of
the Dum Dum Baby version.
Dum Dum Baby version of Great Western Trail. I played a game of this with Linnea, and then I played. Then I played a couple more with Matthew Jude as well. When I first played this, I was kind of like, all right.
I'm not a baby.
I'm not a dumb baby. I want to play regular big boy Great Western Trail because I'm a big boy.
Big boy.
And then I played it a couple more times, and I've actually really started to enjoy it a lot. It's very Great Western Trail.
So what's different? Is it a lot lighter?
It's interesting. It's just everything is smaller. Like,
is it just a smaller?
It's a smaller map. It's a smaller route that you take. There's still buildings that you can do. The main difference, I suppose, is that you don't have like workers that go onto a player board and strengthen your ability to take certain actions. Instead, you can purchase cards depicting those same workers, the builder, the engineer, the cowboy. And those will go into your deck, and then when they cycle back around, you'll play them down in front of you, and then you can use those workers if you're taking the building action or the train action,
strengthen that thing.
or you can spend them for a one-time bonus, like to get $1 for the engineer. And there's and that's the main difference. The train is now like a few different cards, and you can do, if you have 1, 2, 3, or 4 of the engineers, you can do one of the action slots on the train. You're not actually moving a train down the line. Things are simplified when you get to El Paso. You just get $5, you turn in your cards, you want a diverse hand of cards as usual, and you can place your discs out. You have like a player board, but there's just a few less things. So it is kind of everything Great Western Trail, but just, a little smaller, a little quicker, but I enjoy it. I like the card play for the workers. I think it's interesting. But yeah, it is just kind of like everything's just like it's all right, half as big, you know, and half as long. And
Why not? Why not us?
Yeah, but I actually really enjoy it. After a few plays, first time I was like, I don't know, because it is so similar.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would get it and play it.
Why not?
I like it.
I got to play Intarsia. This is another game I picked up. I was at is the wonderful game store called Mox in Seattle. Actually,
MOX
two of them. MOX, yeah. I went to 2 of them. There's 2 of them in Seattle, or at least there might be more. There's at least 2.
Pretty cool.
So I picked up Flatiron, and I picked up this, and this is a game.
Yeah, you really didn't like this that much.
It's not that I don't like it. It's fine. It's fine. I think this game.
Not special in any way.
Coasts really, really hard on how satisfying it is to put those pieces together.
Yeah, they're like, I don't know, they're like,
so you're making
interesting pieces.
Intarsia, I guess it's like a kind of floor you can make. It's also a knitting pattern, because who I was playing with, they're like, they love knitting. Like, oh, this is about knitting. I was like, oh no, it's about making floors and stuff.
Why bother?
Oh, hey, brother.
Thank you, sir. You need me to sign
I appreciate you.
No, you're good. I'll leave it right here.
Okay, have a great day, sir.
Our UPS guy, he's awesome.
Love that dude.
So in Tarja, you're basically getting these cards. These cards will correspond to a different color. There are different floor pieces that have that same color. So like yellow cards will get you like a yellow frame for a floor. And then you can put like a smaller frame in that, and a smaller frame in that, and a smaller frame in that. And every one of those smaller things costs more cards. So like getting like a yellow frame costs 1 yellow card. If you want to put the next piece in, it costs 2 yellow cards, and 3 yellow cards. And if you want to put a little table in there, it's 4 yellow cards. The cool thing is as you put these other pieces in, you start getting cards back. So as you put like the second piece in, you have to pay 2 cards, but you get 1 card back, but it has to be a different color than the cards you just played.
Okay.
So you can't just like keep doing the same things.
But you can start chaining stuff.
Yeah, so it does make you kind of diversify a little bit. and then you have to build these connector pieces so you can build other parts of the floor. It was fine.
You were saying it was just a little too
It's too easy. You can get everything done. It's just too easy. There's no tension. It feels like this is a game that, like, Azul is one of those games. It's also by Michael Kiesling, who made Azul. It's like Azul has like the drafting, so there's that tension. There's just no tension in this game. But I also didn't find it compelling enough to be like just a nice cozy game. Like, there are some games that are just like, there's not much tension, but it's just this nice relaxing game. I thought it was fine. I thought it was a game that is, I think, very much coasting on the pieces, which are very cool and looking, but that's pretty much it. Everything else was, there's just like no rough edges. It was just too, I don't know, it was just too easy. And I thought it was, everyone was kind of like, it was fine.
Yeah,
and that's what it came down to.
I feel like that was also the general consensus from the reviews, but I have yet to try it, and I like the look of it, so I want to play it, but when you said that, I was like, I've heard that from other people as well. It's like, it's okay.
It's fine. And again, like, I should have said, you can't get everything. You can't get everything done, but like, nothing's hard. I don't know. It's like we all played very different games. I don't know. I thought it was okay.
Nobody says getting everything done. What? Did y'all play it right?
Yeah,
maybe
we
not.
didn't get everything done, but I just thought it was fine. I thought it was a game that was okay.
I shall be the final determinant about whether or not it's good or not.
We played all 3 South Tigris expansions.
We sure did. So this is the Arab Experts. These are in alphabetical order via the expansion names. This is for inventors of the South Tigris.
It must be from the first name, because we just came after Intarja.
You're right. It's based on, inventor. Yeah. Right.
So Wayfarers will be last.
Yeah, so it's going to go in reverse order. It's going to go inventors, scholars, Wayfarers. This is the expansion for inventors of the South Tigris, so that's why I put it here. We covered all 3 of these 4 Garfield games.
Go watch them.
They have their campaigns, I think, about to end, actually, in a couple days. And this was kind of an interesting expansion in that it added the fewest, like, physical pieces to the game.
Yes.
But it was quite impactful still. This basically gives you player powers.
That's really it.
That's really it. And some player powers come with a couple extra little bits and things you can use, and others don't. But they all give you kind of a unique strategy to explore or exploit in the game. Kind of makes you a little bit better at one kind of aspect. And I thought it was really cool because Inventors is an interesting one because it's a big game. It's a big...
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
Game, this kind of big shared infrastructure game where, you're presenting ideas, you're coming up with ideas for kind of these gizmos, these little gadgets. Then people can build them and people can publish about them, and I can build what Nick invents and vice versa and stuff like that. And there's just a lot of things you can do. You can move a ship down the river and get ongoing abilities for the game or one-time strong benefits and stuff like that. There's all sorts of things. And so it's nice to have a character that, like, in one of the games I played, like, using that ship action and going down those tiles was very beneficial for me. So, like, okay, well, maybe I'll focus on that a little bit and try to build that into my strategy. And so it gave me just an avenue to explore. It wasn't like I have to do only this thing now. And I really liked that for the game. I thought it was nice to have like a little bit extra built-in variety with the game, but it's not lacking anyway. But have a little bit of extra stuff to explore where it's like, okay, well, maybe now I'll try this because I'm this character or that character. So I really quite enjoyed it I really liked it. Yeah, I liked doing a lot with kind of a little.
Yeah, it was great. It was a great experience. I love player powers in games. I think one of the best kind of expansion out there is just like, hey, player powers. I'm like, great. I love it. I love player powers in games.
Asymmetry now between us,
Yeah, and I really like this expansion. I really like inventors in general. Don't ask us to rank our South Tigris games. Mike's going to do a whole video about it, so don't ask us to do it. We're not going to do it. We will ignore that question. But the expansion is very, very good. I really, really liked it a lot.
Yeah, very good. All 3 expansions you'll hear we quite enjoyed, and this one was really cool.
We played King of Tokyo Duel. We played this out of Denny's.
We sure did. Yeah, we were just getting lunch, and I was like, this will be quick and easy.
Whenever we go to lunch, Mike's like, I'll bring a game. And we usually end up playing one.
Yeah, we'll usually play or goof around with something. But yeah, King of Tokyo Duel. So this is King of Tokyo. It's a 2-player version.
It's like a tug-of-war game now.
Kind of, yeah. Like it's still King of Tokyo in that, like, you can just knock out your opponent by attacking them. But there's also this board with these 2 tracks, and one is kind of your fame, and another one's kind of you destroying the city and stuff. And so if I roll 3 of the city destruction things or more, I can start to pull that token toward me. And that's a way I can win. So if I get either of those tracks to the end on my side, I win. If I get both of them to like the 2/3 point or wherever it is on my side, I win. Or if I knock you out, I win. So it's just kind of fun that there's like different ways to win. And beyond that, it's very King of Tokyo. You have a particular monster that has some powers. You can get the cards.
Yeah, you're rolling dice.
You're rolling dice and stuff. But I enjoyed this one because I was like, oh, it's cool to make a way that does work really well 2-player.
Yeah, it does. I've never been a massive King of Tokyo fan. For some reason, like I like push your luck case. For some reason, King of Tokyo has just never really worked for me. And I don't really have a good reason as to why. So this is like, I'm like, okay, cool. Like this worked as a 2-player version. I don't know if this game needed a 2-player version, but like it does work really well as a 2-player version. Yeah. It's still King of Tokyo, so I'm still like, it's okay. But as a 2-player version of King of Tokyo, I'm like, yeah, it's good.
I'd play this over other versions probably. Yeah. So there's that.
Yeah, it was cool. You know, but I was just like, okay, cool. It's still King of Tokyo, right?
I played Jeff on BGA with this King of Tokyo duel, and yeah, it's like if you like King of Tokyo, you will probably like that. If you don't like those, I don't think it'll change much. But it was fun and it was quick, so it's like, you know,
totally.
Nice little filler.
I got to play Leaping Lemmings.
Tell me about it.
We actually have this game, but I got to play this in Seattle. It is fun. It is not good at 2. This is a game where you want chaos. This is a GMT game because GMT game actually does make weirder games than you think. Not all the time, but sometimes it makes some weird little games. And this is one of them where you are all these little lemmings, and you are trying to get to a cliff and then jump off in the most spectacular way you possibly can.
Oh wow. Okay. You're not trying to yeet others. You're trying to
yeet yourself.
Wow.
And you're trying to do it as best as possible. And by best as possible means that like you're getting certain amounts of movement from these cards. And so basically the amount that because the cliff edge is over here, the amount that you go past the cliff edge is how spectacular your jump is. So basically I think the highest movement is 5. You basically want to be at the edge and then get a 5.
Right.
Because then you're really doing a sweet move off the edge there. But there are these 2 eagles that are like circling around, and the players are kind of controlling them, and the control of them will be switching throughout the players. And so basically, the eagles will move around for these dice. They basically will go around in a circle, and you basically, if they ever land where any lemmings are, they'll eat those lemmings. So, so you're trying to get them to land on your opponents. So it's fine at 2, but at 2,
you want more.
Yeah, because one thing that happens, if 2 lemmings go in the same spot, they will stack on top of each other, but the eagle will only eat the top one. So you want that to be happening a lot.
Funny,
in a 2-player game, it's too easy to avoid each other. It's like 2 to 6. I'm like, play this at 4+ minimum.
Sure.
Because you want the chaos.
Craziness.
Yeah, you want the chaos. You want the craziness. It's like a 20-minute game. It's really quick. It's really, really simple. Like there's like no real rules for it. It's fun, but you don't play it at 2. It's not a 2-player.
Sure.
Frankly, the game should be 3 up at least. It really should be 4 up, but I get why they put 2 up because they want to actually sell games.
Wait, this is GMT? Yeah.
It's a GMT game.
It's not a normal GMT game, but
we played Plum Island Horror. They do make some kind of weirder games with that. But yeah, it's fun. I want to try it like at BGG where we have kind of get it like a group of people.
Well, I'm happy we bought it because I'm like, this seems like it'd have occasion to play if we have like Chaz and Rosie.
Yeah, exactly. We have a whole group that would really, really
something
fun.
Kind of silly and weird.
So I do like it. Verdict's still out because again, the way we played it was like, don't play it that way, but it was fun. Played Llama card game.
OG Llama. It's been a very long time. We played in December the Llama dice game, which I quite liked, and I was playing.
I like the Llama dice game
on BGA, just regular old school Llama the card game, and I enjoy it. It's very light. Like there's not a ton of decisions to make, but it's a breezy game, and then the dice game in particular, I quite enjoy for what they are. It's just like a quick little filler. Not doing a ton of decision making and stuff, but like sometimes it's exactly what you need. It's just like a nice little, I'm gonna do something, click around and do some things. And so the couple times I've played the various Llama games, I've always enjoyed quite a bit because you can be, as with Knizia, you typically is like you can be more strategic than you think.
Of course.
There is strategery to be had, but it's very light, as the art would suggest. So
you played Link.
Played Link. This is a gift game that we got at a thrift store.
We got like a Goodwill, like a random thrift store.
Yeah, and I was like, a gift game? Like, sure, I'll pick it up. It'll be cool. So Jimmy and I played it we had an afternoon. We had like a little bit of time before I needed to go pick up Logan, and so we're like, oh sure, we'll give this a go. And it kind of
It's trash.
the idea of like the name is that it's like linking together various other gift games. There's like little bits from other gift games, of which I've only played Yinch anyway. And you're kind of sliding pieces around and stacking them up to be able to like get a stack with all the different colors. There's all those like kind of 5 colors, and then remove things around. And you can kind of, or rather, you end up claiming certain colors, and so you're trying to move things around strategically to get, you know, certain colors and positions and stuff like that. But it was fun. It was interesting because you're kind of sliding stuff around and stacking things on top of each other and claiming control of them that way. And yeah, I enjoyed it.
Cool.
As all the gift games are.
Yeah, I want to try all the gift games. I played Marvel United Multiverse. I played Marvel United a bunch and a little bit of the X-Men one, but I wanted to solo a game. And I was like, I want to play Marvel United. And I was going to grab like the original and then just like some random characters. And I was like, oh, you know what? I actually weirdly have not played Marvel United Multiverse yet. So I was like, oh, let me grab that. So I played that. Nice. It's Marvel United for the most part. There are certain other things where now you can get equipment, and there are equipment to specific people, or you can just get like generic equipment if like you're playing with like characters from the first game. They don't have equipment for the most part, so you can use like there's kind of generic equipment that everyone can use.
Cool.
And basically on your turn you can use this equipment. It'll give you like extra symbols, give you a little bit of an ability, and then it'll flip down, and then on the back side of it, it'll tell you how you can flip it back up. And so it might be like, rescue 3 civilians from a location in 1 turn, or something like that. And so you can then flip it back up and use it. I was like, okay, that's a cool little...
So like every game you'll get to have this like a couple of extra
Probably,
like kind of powered up turns.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It was cool. Other than that, it was Marvel United. I played as... I just grabbed random, so I grabbed, I think it was Loki, and then the Spider-Man 2099 or whatever that Spider-Man is, and we played against somebody, I don't remember.
Cool.
But nonetheless, it was cool. It was fun. I really like Marvel United, still do.
Kind of you knew you'd be enjoying yourself.
And it was Marvel United, but it was great. The little equipment cards were cool, and so excited to play more of it. You played Mesos.
Mesos. So yeah, this was sent to us by it's Pegasus is the one that gave it to us. It's originally a Cranio game. This is a card drafting game where you are going to be putting your token out to kind of an action spot, and there's cards that are going to be above and below this little central action row. And wherever you place your token, you will then get to take a certain amount of cards from above and below.
Great game.
The 2 different stacks of cards. But if you place your meeple, further to the left, you get first pick of cards. So it's usually like the further right you go, the more cards you'll get, but you're gonna have less of a choice and stuff. And then it's kind of set collection-y stuff, and you're collecting kind of, it's ancient peoples, the different members of your tribe, essentially. And then there's going to be these events that will score based on the types of cards you've collected. So it might be for like every hunter you have, like you'll get some points and stuff. And so you're trying to build out in a way that you can maximize on the events when they come up. Like they will come up, you don't know when, because they're kind of shuffled into the deck like everything else. And it was fun. I feel like it might be a little more interesting at like 3 or 4 players, just because it does scale based on the player count, like the amount of cards are out and the amount of spaces you can choose. But I'd like to play like 3 or 4 so that the whole like where exactly do I put my token feels a little more impactful.
Right, yeah.
Those types of things at a 2-player game, it's sort of like, it'll probably be fine if I'm second. I'll go for the more powerful action. But it was good. It was nice. Like it's very light, very quick. Kind of ultimately kind of set collection game. But I liked it.
Cool. Awesome. I got to play Operation Barclay. I really, really like this game. This, I think I said was maybe my favorite game from my kind of like little gamecation.
It's pretty cool. I mean, you played some big games, and this seems to have like really stood up
Operation
against
Barclay is really cool. It's all about like code breaking in World War II. So someone playing like the German side, someone's playing the British side. The German side is trying to crack the code from the British side. So the British side basically has like these 5 or 6 theaters of war or whatever, I don't know, colors basically. These 6 columns. And they're going to have a mix of green and red pieces face down there. And 2 of the lanes, one of them is going to have like 4 green pieces, 1 red piece. That's like the code the Germans are trying to find. And then the other one, and another one has 4 green pieces and 2 red pieces, or something like that. Basically, there's 2 that the German is trying to find. The other 4 are like decoys, basically. They'll have more red pieces than green pieces, is basically what it comes down to. So, basically what's happening, the game is weirdly a poker game where you are playing a card one by one, and a lot of times the cards have abilities on them, so you'll get to do certain things, and you're drawing more cards back to your hand. So I'll put down like a 3, then I put down another 3, then I put down a 4, like, oh, maybe I'm trying to go for like a high amount of 3s, but basically you put 3 cards face up and then 2 cards face down, so the other person doesn't know exactly what your hand is, your poker hand, and then you're basically gonna either, as the German side, get information, or as the British side, keep information from the German side based off of 3 different things. So there are like 2 of the lanes, that kind of, there's different colored lanes. Basically, you will flip over the poker hand, and whoever won the poker hand, if the German side won it, they get to turn over 1 piece from those like 2 lanes. Okay. If you're the British side and you win the poker hand, you basically take those, and then the German side doesn't get to do anything. So you're just trying to take them away from them so they don't get to turn anything over. The next one is after you play all your cards, each person bids on who they think is gonna win the poker hand. So if you think you're gonna lose, you wanna put you. And again, it's one of those things where it's like if the German player is right, they will get to flip over, I think, 3 things in that one. And then if the British player is right, they get to take them. And I think if you're both right, the German player only gets to flip over 1. And then the last one is, I don't remember what that one is, but essentially the same thing, where like if the German player wins, they get to flip over stuff, and they're busy flipping over, it's like, ooh, I found a green, but that might be one of the ones that's like 2 green and 3 red, or something like that.
Oh, right, right.
They're basically trying to flip these things over, trying to deduce what the things are. It was really interesting because it was like this thing where you're like, I'm actually trying to lose this thing, and I'm gonna bid that I'm gonna lose, or whatever, and all the cards have like special powers. There's a kind of a generic deck, and then a German deck, and then a British deck, so like our decks are like different. It was very, very cool. Yeah. I really, really liked it. And
it's an interesting mix of like theme and mechanisms.
Yeah,
for
it's
sure.
very weird, but I did enjoy it. I was like, this is really, really, really cool, and I think you will like it a lot. And
I'm really excited to try it.
Yeah, I want to try and play it with you because we have a copy of it, and it was cool. I really enjoyed it. I was very surprised by that one.
Nice.
Played Pioneer Days.
I played Pioneer Days. Linnea showed this one to me on Board Game Arena. It is a fairly light game. I'm trying to think right now of how... It's a card drafting game, and you're drafting cards, and then whatever cards get left over, it's going to kind of bump up these disaster tracks. You know, it's very kind of like Oregon Trail, where like there's just bad things are befalling you all the time.
Pioneer stuff, you know.
So you're drafting cards, and then, or maybe it's dice, but whatever you're drafting will give you access to either get a certain kind of resource, dice drafting, there you go, a resource, or you can get like a certain pioneer from that slot, from like the 1 through 6 slot or whatever it might be. And you're trying to mostly gain the right resources or equipment and stuff, which will give you a power and things. But then when you get to the town at the end of the week, you can interact with the town and usually turn stuff in to get these kind of favors, which are each worth 2 points and stuff. So you're kind of trying to gain these resources and then go and turn them in and stuff. But the disasters might make you lose like half your cattle because there was like a famine or, you know, whatever. So it's interesting because you're sometimes drafting a die that is like less ideal, because I'm like, I don't want to progress the blue track, which is what this die will do. So I'm like, I don't want that disaster to happen, so let me stave that off by doing this. But yeah, it was kind of fun and quick and light, and I enjoyed it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
What's up, nerds? What's up, Crit? How you doing, man?
You soloed Plants Nubo.
I did. You need to play a multiplayer, man. I did not think it was that great.
Mike did not like it.
I didn't enjoy it that much.
You did a whole review of it on our Patreon, and you were kind of, you didn't really like it at solo, huh?
Yeah, this is one that we've had in our collection for I don't know, many months.
Yeah.
And I've been wanting to play it and stuff because
it's like Uwe and Mike and Odie, so I'm just like...
it's like the Uwe, designers of La Granja, like, you know, highfalutin people. it's just got an interesting mix of things. You're putting workers out. You're gathering tiles to put on your player board, and you're growing flowers and I don't know. And it might have just been the solo experience where like I felt like I was putting a decent amount of brain power toward like working the bot, and then not as much toward my own thing. So I need to play it multiplayer, so I can just focus on what I'm doing and see if it changes my experience. But it just didn't add up to a lot of things that I was interested in.
Okay.
I just was really kind of like, it's fine. Yeah, I was bummed, but I want to reserve final judgment until I play it multiplayer. Just because at times, like the solo experience of a game just won't be my favorite way to play it. Excuse me.
And this might have been that.
But I was just like, oh man,
it's trash. You heard it here, folks. Plan to
and it also
trash.
just didn't stick in my brain very much. I'm like, I just don't remember it very much, which is also not a great sign.
Have you not played Corridor?
I never played Corridor before.
Great. Yeah, it's interesting.
Corridor is fun. It's I played it against Jamie. Foster Meeple, speaking of, is in the chat.
What's up, Jamie?
I imagine that's Jamie, because Jeff doesn't like us.
Get wrecked.
So I played Corridor with Jamie, and it's just a simple, in these abstract kind of queue line of games where you can either move, you're trying to get your pawn to your opponent's side of the board, kind of like a big, just little hex, or not hexes, but squares
walls
thing. And so you can either move your pawn a space, or you can put a wall out onto the board, which creates, blocks and hallways and stuff for hopefully your opponent to have to go through. So you can only choose one of those on a turn. So it's about kind of like, I want to put a wall here because that's going to make Jamie go like 3 spaces down here before they can come out, and then I'm going to try to move my pawn up. So you're kind of trying to strategically block, but also your opponent's doing that to you, but you do need to keep your pawn moving as well. And it was fun because Jamie and I did all this stuff, and they ended up in a dead race where we're both like, and I was like I was just in this. I was one step ahead. I'd gotten just a little bit further, and so I managed to squeak out a win. But it was very fun. I like the idea of just like place a wall or move your pawn. There's, really you'd like to do both, but you can't. So I quite like
years ago, and I did enjoy it.
And we have the Pac-Man version.
We do have the Pac, which I do want to play.
Which I think makes it like 4-player or something, and I'm curious because I think one player is Pac-Man, the other one's with a ghost.
Oh, really?
And so I'm like, that might be kind of really cool. I don't know, but we haven't played it yet.
I do want to try it. That sounds cool. I got to play. It's called Expeditions. I think it's from Korea. Here it's called Relic Hunters. Yeah. So Relic Hunters or Expeditions is this really cool. I really liked this game a lot. I don't know how available it is here, but it's really, really fun. This is a game kind of like Quest for El Dorado, where you are playing out these cards, and these cards are essentially going to have various values that allow you to go through different landscapes. So you need to go onto like a mountain. You need to play like a mountain card that's, in this, moving on to this mountain spot is like 5. So you need to play up to 5 of those mountain cards so that you can move on to that spot. And you're basically trying to get to the end, kind of like Quest for El Dorado. The difference with this game is as you're going through this thing, you can kind of like dig at these various sites and get things. They might give you more movement. They might allow you to draw cards. They might allow you to take cards from your discard pile and put them at the bottom of your deck. They might also give you money, because here's the thing is once you get through your deck, you then do not get to shuffle your discard pile back through. It's not like a deck builder in that sense. So the way you get your cards back is you have to go back to the beginning. And when you go back to the beginning, the money that you collected, if you collected any, you then can spend that money to buy new cards, which are going to be bigger, better versions of the cards you have. And then you kind of start your trek again. And your goal is basically to get to the end twice.
So like every time you reset, you ideally purchase stuff to make it so you can go further on the next track.
Yes, exactly. And that's also how you get your discard pile back. So the spots that allow you to draw more cards are great because you get to move farther, but then the spots that allow you to put cards from your discard pile back into your deck are great because it allows you to stay out on the board better. And so you're going from tile to tile to tile, and each tile when you flip them over it shows you what's on the other side, and then they stay face up. So then you can also start planning a route. Like, I have these kinds of cards, I'm gonna go this route. This route's easier than kind of the other routes around. So it's really, really fun.
Cool.
It's kind of like a roguelite deck builder, as Naobari just said. Yeah, it is kind of like a roguelite where you're kind of
you're resetting.
Getting a little farther, resetting.
That's
getting a little farther, resetting. And it's got this really cute like animal art where you're all like animal stuff like that.
How long is it? Like, is it like an hour long?
An hour-ish, somewhere in there. We played a 3-player game, probably 45 minutes to an hour. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really, really cool. And I have no idea if it's available at all, but I did enjoy it. I thought it was really, really cool, and I kind of like that back and forth nature of like trying to go far and then having to go back, and then you can buy new cards, and then trying to go again, and then it became this really close race to get to the end twice, which was really, really cool.
Very cool. Excuse me, Van Diesel said, hey, make sure to thumb up this video. We'd appreciate that if you could.
Indeed.
Play San Marco, which, even if you didn't know anything about this game, you could look at that cover and be like, well, this is not new.
This is not new at all.
That's an old-ass game.
It's an old-ass game. Yeah, I think it's from like the 90s or something, maybe early 2000s, but this is an old Alan Moon game of Ticket to Ride fame.
Never heard of him.
And this is an I Split You Choose area control game. That is pretty cool. It's we kind of had a game where almost like, yeah, it's kind of all right, but this is our friend Charlie's like one of his favorite games, so he really wanted to play it. But ultimately, it's cool. It's basically like there's a map, I think of Italy or something, and there's a bunch of different spots, and you're putting out your like people out there, and then the person who's the active player will get like 5 or 6 cards or whatever it is, and then they will split them up. But in all good I Split You Choose, they then get to choose last. So they split the cards up, and the cards will basically be, if it's one of the cards is one of the regions on the board, you basically just get to put one of your people there. Then there's other spots where you'll get to like assassinate, I guess, theme. You basically get to replace someone's piece with one of your pieces. So it's kind of like area control. That way, you have ones where you can then, I think, move stuff around and stuff. But like it's stuff like that. It's like very basic area control where you're either getting these cards that allow you to put stuff out, switch stuff around, or kind of move things around, put out a bridge, because the bridge will allow you to get to other places easier and stuff. But also one of them is scoring. And each of these regions will score for first place and then for second place. So one of the cards will allow you to move this piece, I don't remember what it's called, the bishop or something, you know, whatever. And basically wherever you have it land, you're going to score that region. So hopefully you want to be winning that region so you can score points.
Interesting.
And then again, if they can go, you have to like essentially pay points, I think, to move them. And so you want to move them through the shortest route possible, which is why you want to put out bridges and stuff. It was cool. I really like I Split You Choose. I think it's the most underutilized mechanic along with Moncala. And as a area control game, it was cool. I didn't like love it, but it was good. So yeah, San Marco stuff.
There you go.
We got to play Scholar's Body of Books, Scholar's South Tigris.
Yes, man, this is a great expansion. This felt like maybe the biggest expansion from the South Tigris trilogy.
I guess, yeah. This and Wayfarers are pretty close in terms of that.
This basically, Scholar's South Tigris is all about gaining and translating scrolls and bumping up these various research tracks, which are, you know, developing in the areas of mathematics and physics and theology and stuff, different knowledge things. And this expansion adds a new dice colors, black dice now, a new track, a medicine track, which is a 7th research track to go up. And then these pages, which are like, you can translate just specific pages of text or the scrolls and stuff. And they basically made it so that you can tuck more things under your player board, because that's kind of a really fun thing in Scholars, is as you retire translators, they go under your player board and they kind of beef up your actions.
Yeah,
they kind of
give you player powers,
your actions. And so this gives you more avenues to tuck cards underneath your board, because I feel like in the base game of Scholars, and it's not like a bad thing about the game, but like you'll tuck 3 cards maybe, and so I think they're kind of like saying like, hey, this is a really fun thing. Let's get more of these cards going under your player boards. You can also potentially grab like upgraded versions of the action cards you play. And yeah, I just like, we hadn't played Scholars in a while prior to covering this expansion, so it was fun to play Scholars again, period. And then I was like, man, this expansion really increased the fun of...
Yeah, I already really like Scholars a lot.
So
it was very good.
I thought the expansion was really solid. Yeah, this really rock solid.
It's tough what my favorite expansion was.
You were saying,
So I realized we're past P. I forgot to log a game that I played there. I played this game called Pueblo. I was waiting for it. I was like, wait, it hadn't come up yet. I looked, I was like, did I forget to log it? I did forget to log it. I played a game called Pueblo. Okay. Which is kind of like that game Control. The kind of cube one, where basically you're building these like pueblos you're building it with these blocks basically.
Sure.
And they kind of all like fit together, and then there's this kind of like I think it's like the chieftain of the tribe or whatever. It basically doesn't want to see bright colors. Something I don't know. The theme is very much pasted on.
Sure.
But basically, wherever wherever they are, they're going to look straight down because you're on like a grid board, and basically whatever of your color that they can see from that direction, you will gain points. You don't want points. You want the least amount of points. And then the higher up they can see it, the worse. So if it's on the ground floor, you'll get 1 point. If they can see it a second floor up, you get 2 points, and 3, and then 4. And then so on your turn, you have to place one of your pieces, and your pieces will either be in your player color, in my case was orange, or white pieces. And the white pieces are kind of like neutral, and they don't lose any 1 points or gain any 1 points. And then after you place your piece, you then move the kind of chieftain 1 to 4 spaces. So you kind of want to have them stomp on spaces that are going to give your opponents points, but not you. And they're basically going to keep going around and around and around. But it's kind of like that control where it's only the specific way they're looking, where you're like, this side I'm really good. This side over here, I'm really bad. I've got to like cover my stuff up before they get around there. It was cool. It was a cool little puzzle, but it reminded me of that game Control. And I forgot to log it apparently. So
there you go.
It should have been a little bit ago. Body Books is good too.
I played 4X Space Empires. It's a big GMT space battle game. And here's the thing.
You have any idea what's going on?
No. I was given, Charlie sent videos to help. And said, hey, you can read these things. It's a big kind of space war game. And I was like, I'm going to read those things, and I'm going to watch those things. And I didn't do that. And I was like, I'm going to figure it out as I go.
You can wing it. You can wing it.
And I did not figure it out as I went. So this is going to be a non-review.
Okay.
I'd have to play it physically to understand what's going on. I don't think it'll be my favorite game ever, but I'm sure I will enjoy it a bunch more if I understand, because you basically are putting pieces out, and you can kind of generate economy, which you can then start building ships, and you're going out and blowing each other up and stuff like that. And I was just like, I feel like I keep upgrading these things, but I just don't have anything. I think it's because I had like one building, and it was just not good. And at one point Charlie was just like, oh, you don't really know what's going on, dude? And I was like, nah. He's just like, yeah, I figure. He's like, I'm gonna be blowing you up now, but I just wanted you to know, like, it's okay, you know. And I was like, that's cool.
That's
See me as a weak link.
That's very nice, yeah. I'm gonna play the Big Daddy Star Wars Rebellion. I gotta play Star Wars Rebellion on my.
Did you play with the expansion or no?
No expansion, just base game. I thought the combat was fine.
The combat is fine.
I read the expansion rules because they're pretty short, and I was like, oh, this combat does seem more interesting. But the combat's fine.
I feel like it's been overblown. Yeah. People are like, it's so bad. I'm like,
it's unplayable without the expansion. I thought it was fine.
That's true.
It does seem more interesting with the expansion, but it was fine. This is Star Wars in a box. It's a very big game where two-player game where one player is playing the Rebellion, one player is playing the Empire. The Rebellion has hidden their base on one of the various planets. Mine was on Geonosis, which I think yours was too, wasn't it? Was it on Geonosis?
It might have been.
Yeah, I think I did that because I was like, I think my kid his on Geonosis.
Rain planet.
I'm gonna do that. And then the Empire is trying to find out where that is and then essentially destroy all the ground troops on that planet. They don't have to destroy the space troops around it, just the ground troops. So it's this game of kind of like cat and mouse where you are trying to like beef up the stuff there and stuff around it, but not doing it too much to make it obvious that that's where you're doing it.
Right.
And you're kind of trying to like throw some feints out, but every single round, the Empire player gets to draw a couple cards from the planet's deck, which essentially tells you what planet it's not on, because from that planet's deck I had to choose one and I have it over here, so the planet that I'm hiding on is not in that deck. So as you're like, oh, they're not on Alderaan, oh, they're not on Coruscant.
If I remember correctly, you don't know what they've drawn.
No.
So you can be putting something out and they're like,
I know that's not there. And so it's this weird game where you're trying to feint, but you kind of sometimes are feinting and they already know. But sometimes they take the bait and stuff like that. It was really, really fun. This game is not as big and crazy as it kind of seems. It's still a very big game, but it kind of has this like, it's nowhere near as heavy in my opinion as like something like a War of the Ring. It's still pretty big and pretty heavy, but Shots fired! Shots fired! No, yeah, it's pretty like... It's pretty approachable. I don't think it's actually that hard to learn and play. It was very, very fun. It was really, really cool. I played the Rebellion. Charlie played the Empire. It came down to literally the very last dice roll of the entire game, because the Rebellion is basically just trying to time out the game. They basically last as certain amount of time, and then you have these objectives that can essentially kind of advance time a little bit in a weird way. But it was very good. It was very cool. It's a game that I would want to play like once every year and a half or so, kind of like a War of the Ring, where I'm like, this is like a once a year, once every 2 years kind of game for me. But it was very, very cool, very thematic. It was very, very fun to be like, yeah, Leia's on Geonosis doing stuff, and it was very, very cool.
So I want to play it again. It's a really fun
It was
game.
rad. It was very, very rad.
I guess it's why it's so highly rated.
Yes, people do be loving it.
What it do, Pan? How you did? You got to hang out recently.
Last month, our $10 patrons and up chose Tricarion for us to play. So we
sure
did a
did.
stream of this that you can go watch.
Yes.
We finally got to play Tricarion.
Finally got to play Tricarion.
Years we've been wanting.
Yeah, man. I remember hearing about this a long time ago and thinking it was a Lacerda game, but it's like, no, it's just a big, heavy game. And then Mind Clash sent it to us, which was very sweet. It was like a gift because they heard that we'd always want to try it. So thank you for that. And we got to play it. Yeah. So I learned it up for us, and then we streamed it. And it's a big game where you are rival magicians, and you are trying to gain the components you need to be able to put on performances of great illusion. And you can get...
it's tricks, basically.
Yeah, it's ultimately kind of it's heavy in that, like... You really have to prepare and think ahead and stuff. But it's ultimately kind of like a standard worker placement game where you're going to go over here and I can get a trick of a certain category. It's like illusions and escape tricks and stuff like that. And then that trick is going to give you kind of the components it requires in order to pull it off. Like what kind of materials do you need to kind of build it out and stuff like that. And then you can prepare the trick and then go into the theater. And that's you kind of like, slating to perform it. And then there will be potentially performances each round if a magician has kind of put themselves on the stage. Where you can perform your tricks to get points and money. And then you'll, kind of rinse and repeat and stuff as you go. I quite like this game. I liked it a lot. I love the theme a lot. It's really cool. There's kind of like a fun thing where it's like Nick might put his magician down on the Thursday in the theater to perform, and then I can put tricks onto a card, which is a specific theater, that maybe you have put, and then if you select that card, everyone that has tricks on that card will
get to perform.
Will get to perform. It's your show, but we're all contributing to it, and that was kind of cool. It's like, oh, you're gonna perform. Well, I'm gonna put a trick down there and make sure I get a little something out of this, or I can try to dominate a whole theater card and get all the benefit and stuff. So there's kind of nice little positive player interaction in that way. It's indirect for sure.
I really liked it.
But the money's really tight in the game, so you have to make some
it's tough.
Tough decisions.
The game itself was not mega it's a big game to go around. There's a lot of rules, but it's not like mega complicated, but it's a heavy game because of the decisions you have to make. It's tough. It's really, really tough. It's just a rough one to get through in a good way, where you're just like, there are parts where you're just like thinking so hard, like, how do I get this stuff done? How do I get it going? And it's tough. There's a couple spots where I was like, my head was just thumping because I was like, how am I gonna do this? How am I gonna do this? And it was really, really good. I enjoyed it a lot. So Tricarion was very good.
Quite good.
We played Tides of Trade. This is the Wayfarers expansion.
So this is Tides of Trade. This was very much a more stuff expansion. So there's new townsfolk cards, more land cards, water cards, space cards, and then it gave a little player extension that gave you a new spot to put dice, and there's a main board extension as well, which kind of gave access to these trader tiles where you can go and interact with them. There's a new influence type, a new red spire we can put influence, which acts as a wild, or you can be used to pay for these kind of new elements. And so one thing is you can interact with a trader, which will have some kind of powerful one-time benefit, which might give you a space card at a $3 discount, which is nice because space cards are expensive. It might give you these various other things, or there's these kind of tile sets you can collect, which power up the workers in the game, because there's this kind of shared economy of workers where if you collect a card that has a worker on it, maybe you were the one who played that worker, but then I collected, then I can use that worker in the future. And if you have kind of tiles collected, every time I use a yellow worker, whatever bonuses are on there, it might be a coin or it might be refreshing a die or something like that, I get to do that every time I use that color of worker, which is super cool.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that kind of element of like, oh, I'm going to try to get these specific workers now because like I have all these kind of bonuses to get, and the way that adds to the many different possible combos and stuff that Wayfarers already has, it just beefs that up even more.
Yeah.
And so I quite enjoyed it. It's just like literally more, again, of all the types of cards and stuff. So this is in particular an expansion that I'm never gonna take out of all the decks. I'm just gonna leave it all in. Wayfarers is already a bear to teach.
Yeah.
It doesn't take a ton more to teach the new elements. So it's just sort of like, I'll just always have this in that game moving forward.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was cool. I like the beefing up of the workers. That was nice. Be like, oh, now my blue workers are like really cool. So that's really, really nice. And so I liked it a lot. I thought it was great. All the expansions were really good. Really, really good. So check them all out. I got to play Witchcraft. Witchcraft is a solo-only game. That was very, very good. Our good friend Jamie over at Foss People really, really likes this one. And I really liked it too. It's very, very cool where it's based on witchcraft. So you are kind of a coven of witches, and kind of classic, you are trying to help, but everyone's like, I don't trust you, kind of thing. So like, witches are being put on trial, and you're basically trying to help as much as you can. And you're basically trying to, because there are like evil people and evil like witches and evil like spell slingers coming into town, and you're trying to counteract them while not like essentially pissing off the townsfolk, basically is what it is. You're trying to help them, but again, they don't really trust you. And so you have to like overcome these challenges that are coming in through town. And you do that by using your witches. And your witches will do different abilities, and they'll have also different strengths. But it's really, really cool because you can basically choose to use your witch kind of like in the background where like they're doing stuff, and they'll have a certain amount of strength, but they're not gonna be as cool, or you can kind of like reveal them. Yeah, they're called like the reveal witches, and it's cool because the art is like them like really like doing stuff, and it's one of those things where it's like they look kind of scary, but they're trying to help kind of thing, but because they're like floating and they're like, oh, because they're like doing really cool big magic stuff.
That's dope.
But then once you use them that way, they go away because they essentially get put in jail. So you can't do that with like every single witch, because then all your cards are gonna go away. And your cards are kind of cycling through, and you're basically trying to like manage all this bad stuff that's coming in here, trying to overcome these like various challenges, while utilizing your coven in the right way. And you can kind of like deck build your coven at the beginning of the game a bunch of different ways. There's a bunch of different families. So there's like the Miller family. And so a lot of the cards will be like, for every other Miller you've played this turn, you get this kind of thing. So you can like kind of like have like, oh, I'm gonna have like this family of witches and this family of witches all in my coven to try and do stuff. It's really cool. There's like I think a whole campaign to it. I just played like the base game, but it was very, very cool, very difficult.
I need to play it.
Got wrecked pretty good, but it's kind of like a crisis management game, but I really, really love the theme. It looks cool, and I really liked it a lot. I thought it was great.
That's dope. Played Wondrous Creatures.
You did.
I soloed this and played it with Jimmy on stream.
That's right, you played it last week.
I do think it is
the week before.
I do think it is okay. I don't think it's great.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, it's. There's just, it gets in its own way.
Yeah.
It takes too long to kind of ramp up. And get to doing like the really cool stuff. And this is something that we heard for Life of the Amazonia as well, who makes, same publisher makes this one, is the game is just, I needed it, I was done with it, and then 20 more minutes happened. I'm like, I don't need the extra 20 minutes.
Right.
I'd rather ramp up quicker in that shorter period of time, because you're ultimately building a tableau of cards, and Jimmy and I spent a long time talking about it after we streamed it and stuff. And there's a lot of cards that are kind of one-time abilities. This happens when you play it. There's some ongoing ability cards and stuff, and we felt like the ratio of cards was wrong.
Okay.
Where there's a bunch of things where you do like one thing, and I'm like, okay, well that doesn't actually build an engine for you at all.
Right.
And like, I wanted more of the cards that build up and have triggerable abilities and stuff like that, because that makes me feel like I'm getting momentum going.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it just went on too long. It is...
Okay.
a fun game. Like, I like the things you're doing, but there's just like, where it's like, it just didn't quite achieve greatness.
I'm curious because I played Life of Amazonia, which is another bad comic game, and I really, really liked it, but it also went on a little bit too long. So I wonder if that's kind of an ongoing thing. But
we'll see.
I still want to try it because
but it's a fun game. It's a beautiful production.
Of course, yeah.
And everything like that. But I was just like, I just wanted it to be a little punchier and quicker and just a little tighter.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. You play Zenith.
Zenith, this is on Board Game Arena. I think it's coming out in the spring. This is by the same publisher that made Captain Flip. And I think the full game can be played in teams and play a 4-player game, or it's really designed as a 2-player head-to-head kind of tug-of-war game where you're playing out cards to your side of the board, and you're pulling influence of these different planets, and you are trying to get the planet to the end of the track on your side, and then you collect a token of that planet, and you can either win by getting 3 of the same planet, any 4 different planets, there's 5 tracks, or 5 planets total. And so I like that there's different ways to go for it, and the cards you play for influence, or when you play a card, you can play it in 3 different ways. If you're playing it for influence, the color of the card will be coded to one of the planets. You'll put it in front of that planet track.
Right.
And it'll always pull the planet 1 toward you. And then there'll be other abilities on the thing. It might give you some money. It might give you Zenithium, which is the kind of special resource.
Zenithium.
You can play a card that will all be like either like robots, humans, or animals to this technology board and progress up the technology tracks and kind of trigger a bunch of effects. This is one that I played it the first time. I was kind of like, it kind of kept going and going and going because you're kind of like pulling a thing here, a planet toward you, and then it goes the other way and stuff like that. And then I kept playing it, and this game is amazeballs. It's so good.
Really?
Because I started to learn like the ways that you can work stuff to combo and have a big powerful turn where I'm going to pull this planet here and then the planet over here, Mars planet's going to come 2 toward me, and like the different wind conditions and stuff. I've played a lot of.
Really?
I've played this game a lot.
Wow.
I think it's so good.
Really?
I think it's a really good 2-player.
I'm very excited for it now.
Kind of tug-of-war game. Yeah, the way you can play cards for either technology track, which if you go up to the second step, you get the second step and you re-trigger the first step of that track. So you kind of like have these. You can just pull off some like really cool turns. Like the more I played it, the more I've discovered ways to kind of be strategic. I think it's a great game.
Wow,
fantastic
cool,
game.
Awesome.
Can't wait for it to come out like for real.
Yeah. I'm assuming old
That's
games.
the end of the new games.
So now we're going to the old games, which is the bigger. Yeah, get ready, stretch out, do some lunges. So those are all the new games we played.
Yep.
Decent amount, 29 new games, I believe. And so now we have a whole bunch of old games we played before. We will stop if we have anything else to say, but we are going to let this run. Each game is on here for like 2.5 seconds or something like that.
2 seconds.
2 seconds. So it's going to be a lot of good, bad, good, bad, good. Mostly good because, again, we like all these games. So get ready for some chaos, y'all. Because it's bad. Or else we looking over here because that's where our thing is. Usually it's here,
normally
but it's not. So look at this half of our face.
So we'll be thumbing to you. Okay.
All right, ready. So.
Oh gosh.
Oh God.
Amazing game. I'm so good. I love it so much.
Alhambra.
Good
I haven't played it.
Good classic. Arboretum. I forgot how much I enjoy that game.
Good one. Ark Nova always great.
It's
so good every time.
Beer Bread.
Such a good game. I love it.
Beyond the Sun actually finally won.
Hey, Mike won't play with me.
He's gonna show it to Karen.
Love Burn Cycle. It's great. Captain Flip,
we already talked about it.
Talk about every time. Cast Combo, we talk about
amazing. It's a good game, little 9-card thing.
Civilization, so good. My gosh, Colbert is such a good game. I played the new one.
Copenhagen, really good kind of Ticket to Ride, but building stuff. Cosmo Octopus, I'm kind of liking it more now.
Oh, Darwin's Journey.
Darwin's Journey, still enjoying it. Dead Cells, I've been soloing in the campaign.
Guys, but you like this one now?
I like it better than the first time I played.
Oh, Don't Cthulhu's great. Don't Antique, still good.
It's all good.
Dragon vs. Van Helsing, good.
I'm so bad at it.
Draft Stores, right?
Yeah, there you go.
Earth. I played Earth the other day. It was great.
It's really good.
Elder Scrolls, great game. I love this game so much. Faraway is good.
Such a good card game. Such a good tableau builder. Gigopolis, all-time elegance.
Gosh, it's so good. You played the original one too,
Yeah,
huh?
you know what I mean? So good.
Harmonies is great.
Play through tomorrow coming out. La Havre. Amazing. Played on my birthday.
Jaipur is a great
game. Just one.
One good.
I played more than just one time. Nara, great. Kutnoora.
Kutnoora is so great.
Let's Go Japan. I really
like.
Nice game.
Why did you play on the
Libertalia.
thing?
Huh?
Was that not? Oh, you played on BJ before.
What are you talking about?
Let's Go to Japan.
Yeah.
So I asked, why was it on the new to you? Because we played it physically for the first time.
Yeah, but
Okay, that's right.
Yeah, it was new last month.
Liberty is really good.
Really fun game.
really good. Lost Wars are such a great game. My gosh.
Lucky Numbers.
I've never played. I don't know what it is.
Have a good lucky time.
Medici is good. I like Medici.
It is fun and fun. Minos. I forgot how good it was, man.
Oh, Nuclear.
So good. All-time.
Appreciation Day. Obsession, also a great game.
I'm obsessed with it. Orleans French stuff. Paperback Adventures. I love it. Spelling, fighting stuff. Pirates of Maracaibo, better than Maracaibo. Everyone knows that. Pixies. Such a good little thing. Res Arcana. Been getting back into it.
I played Rococo again. It's great. I love it so much.
I played Rove solo stuff.
Okay.
Sagani, the best of all those games. Sail, such a hard but good trick taker. Seesaw and Paper, just a fun set collection game.
Search for the Please love it so much.
Yeah, search for them. Seasons? Oh man, Seasons is so good. I forgot. I haven't played it.
When did you play Seasons?
I played on BGA.
It's on BGA?
Yeah. I forgot how good Seasons is.
Seasons is incredible.
Seasons is so dope.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah. And Small World, still a classic. Hit it.
Oh, sorry.
We should play it.
Okay, we should play it.
Stockpile, great game. I really like terribly. Streets, I finally figured it out, even though I lost.
Cool.
Tapestry, I finally won a game. I finally won a game of Tapestry. Teotihuacan, lost a game of Teotihuacan. Time's up.
Great game.
Not for this review thing. Votes for women. Amazing. You should always vote for women. War Chest, I'm actually kind of getting decent. I like it. Wingspans, classic bird stuff. Woodcraft.
It's okay.
Nick's going down on it. Nick's
I'm kind of, because it was the last one. I'll talk about it a little bit.
I agree, man. I think maybe you're right. I think maybe you're right.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I think with that Woodcraft is the funnest part of the game is a part you don't get to do very much. That's like the manipulating your dice and using your tools. I wish getting to upgrade your tools and build the tools in your workbench wasn't one of the actions. I wish it was one of the free actions that you could do, and I wish it just like cost a lot of money or cost like a lot of scrap wood. Like, oh, you want to build your workbench? It costs like 5 scrap wood. I wish you could just do it because it's just too much. And so, also Colton, you're also going to get banned because you called us a dumbass. So
yeah, and now since we're on it, I was just going to ignore you. But Colton, it's okay that people like Lacerda and you don't. Yeah. You can just drop the path of vengeance you're on about it.
Yeah.
And to complain.
We've put up with your random
shadow bans you. It's like, yeah, it's because you're a dickhead. So like maybe don't do that.
We put up with your Lacerda crap for months and months and months. We're done with it. So
people don't let me be mean.
So yeah. But nonetheless, yeah, Woodcraft is good. But the last 2 games of it I've played have been kind of subpar, and I think it's going down for me. Not like I still really enjoy the game, but I like it a lot less. So
I was playing Seasons on BGA right now. It's such a good game, dude.
Yeah,
it's such a good game. Sorry for saying they were a D-head, but if you're being a D-head, you're going to be a D-head.
It's been months, and so we're just over it.
But cannot stand the fact that people like Lacerda. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, the world is not literally built for you.
Yeah.
We got to call this crap out in 2025.
It's just ridiculous. Yeah, so that was the chaos. That's how we do it now because, again, we've talked about these games a billion times. So no need to go. If we need to stop, we'll stop like that. We'll stop like that.
Stop talking about Seasons. So good.
So we it was a good month. We actually played a lot of games, a decent amount of new games. Again, I got a little vacation, which was nice.
Yeah, I was thinking, it's kind of a quiet month, but like we had, Karen and I kind of did a co-celebration of our birthdays on my birthday, because her birthday is the 7th of January, mine's the 11th, so that was on a Saturday. And we played, we saw Domestic Cthulhu, Medici, Le Havre, Let's Go to Japan, and maybe one other. Did we play one other? Anyway, those 4 games at the minimum. I felt like we played a 5th, but maybe I'm wrong. So we got to do that. You got to go to Seattle and play a bunch of stuff. I mean, it was a good... It was good. It was a darn good month of gaming.
Darn good month of gaming. Yeah, it was a really, really good one. We've been really prioritizing playing games for fun kind of since the fall. And it's been really nice. It's been really, really nice to kind of just like hang out, play games just for fun more. It's been great. It's been really, really good. So we'll answer a couple questions. People got a couple questions if they want to. Otherwise, we'll get on out of y'all's hair.
Yeah. So Kurt asked earlier if we're going to Dice Tower West. We are going to Dice Tower West. We're going to Gamma.
So soon.
2 weeks?
Yeah, like 2 weeks from now.
So we'll be there. That's not a public-facing thing, but for any other people on the inside of the hobby, we'll be there. There'll be a Dice Tower week, which is 1 week after that.
Yeah.
That'll be 3 weeks from Wednesday, I think. Maybe? 4, 3, 6. I can't tell time.
It's
all these things are very close.
They are
I was
very
thinking
close.
about last night. I was like, oh my god,
they're all like
we have so much to do.
And then the next one we'll go to is BGG Springs. We'll have a break before that, but we have like right in a row here.
Yeah.
But so it'll be
Hope
really
to see some of
cool.
y'all there. Imagine Steve, if you're still in chat, imagine you'll be there. But let
there
us
should
know.
be. If you're there, please say hi.
Now, like I said, Sagani better than Framework. Here's the thing. I really like Sagani because it's the most different of those games, and I kind of like. There's Nova Luna, Framework, and then kind of Sagani that get kind of like put into this, like they're all similar. Sagani is very different, and I like that about it. So I've kind of been digging playing it lately because it feels more challenging to kind of line stuff up, but it's very different because Framework, for example, you'll have a tile with the tasks. I need 4 green frames around this, and it's about being directly connected. Sagani, you need to have, I think 2, 3, or 4 colors in the same kind of sight line of your tile. So if I have a tile here and there's a blue arrow pointing to its right, if there's a blue tile anywhere in that direct line, that will satisfy that part of the of that task. And I kind of enjoy that. It can put stuff on the diagonal as a result. So you're kind of trying to build in such a way to kind of keep things, keep completing tasks at a regular interval. Because when I take a task, if it has 4 things to complete, I take 4 discs from my pool and put it onto that tile. And if essentially I have too many tiles that are out that are incomplete at a time, I start taking these other tiles that are going to start to hurt my score. So when I complete a thing and I get 10 points, for example, or whatever for completing that, there's also points. It's not just a race to get rid of your discs. If I have these negatives and stuff, it's going to count against that. And so, I don't know. I just think it's a really interesting, it's very different. So I kind of like, if you want to compare Nova, Luna, and Framework, I think that's fine. Sagani is just, I don't think really quite fits in the same thing. It's kind of built on a similar idea, but I quite enjoy it. I think it's really neat. It's very different. Yeah.
How about Kubla Khan? Make it this year? Maybe, because that's actually close to us.
When is it again?
I'm not sure, but it's in like the Bay Area. So like it literally is one we could go out there for like the day.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll just have to see.
I've always wanted to go.
I've always wanted to go. Now we're actually pretty close to it. See anything cool in Seattle? Nope. I honestly didn't. I sat inside playing games the whole time.
I mean,
not really. It is breathtaking. Pacific Northwest is gorgeous. I get why people like it.
You got to go to the Valve headquarters. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. But I mean, I didn't do any like touristy stuff. I didn't go to Space Needle. I didn't go to like Pike Mark or anything like that. It was like snowing the entire time, so it was like pretty dreary.
Yeah, the weather was kind of wild.
Yeah, it was pretty good, but it was gorgeous. Seattle was like surrounded by mountains. I'm like, I get why people love the Pacific Northwest. It's gorgeous. Yeah, it looked I wanted to relax and play games. That's exactly what I did. I didn't do anything.
Yeah, you weren't there to tour the city.
I didn't do anything. It was great. It was outstanding. Are y'all getting to the Garfield Games podcast, Lens and Veil? Super cool insight into the game design side. I don't ever listen to podcasts. Yeah, like Shem and Sam started a podcast. I don't listen to podcasts, so I haven't listened to it, but I think it's really cool, and that is one I would legit be interested in because it's always fascinating to hear about it. Yeah.
I love hearing just like the thought processes and you know how. Just how people iterate on ideas and stuff. I think it's really, really cool. So I think I will. I forgot that they had launched that. I'll do that. Rainer says, Mike, what do you think as who I played Seasons with? What do you think about all the take that cards in Seasons? It's one thing that bothers me about the game. I could do without them. And the game that he and I played, it was particularly punishing because I didn't do enough, because you draft cards to start the game, and I didn't do enough to take some of those take that cards, so Rainer ended up with a bunch of them. Right. It really stole a lot of my crystals and things. It's a game where, like, if I was playing physically, we haven't ever taken them out, but I could see us doing, because, like, I'd rather each of us try to build a better engine than the other than, like, mess with each other's stuff. So, and now I'm with you. It's not my favorite thing about the game, but
said for Seasons you can get expansions and call out the take that cards and put in expansion cards. You totally could, and I would probably do that because it's just not really our thing. Yeah, but I really like it.
And I don't think the game would suffer for it because all the other cards and what they do are super cool, and I'd rather play with that stuff. So.
Mo Uploads asks, how did you guys play so many games in this period? You've played more games lately than I played last year. Well, we played a lot of games for work. Mike plays a ton of games on BGA. Most of our games, like half of them are games that Mike plays on BGA, and we still count them as plays. Physical plays, our list would be a lot less. Although that's going up because we are playing more physical games in general. And then this time, I played in like a 4 or 5 day period in Seattle. I played like
23 games, you said, or something?
23 or 24 games. Yeah, so it's like I played a lot of games. That's a third of
the month's numbers right there almost. You know?
I also I solo stuff pretty frequently at home. You solo stuff, so it's like we just play a lot. But it is our job to play at least some games, and so we are very lucky that we get to play as many games as we do. What's the best solo game on BGA?
Solo game on BGA.
I don't know. I play BGA, so I don't know.
Interesting. My quick answer would be Turing Machine, just because I prefer to play that solo anyway, and it works well on BGA that it takes care of any physical bookkeeping stuff you need to do. In terms of a bigger game, I have to get back to you on that. I'm curious. Like, let me take a quick gander at some of the soloable stuff. 1 second. This isn't me, not paying attention. Let me just go.
A lot of people say go to KubeCon. Again, we might. We will definitely look into it because that is something that we can potentially go, or at least I could probably go because it's easier for me to get away. Mike of course has a family and stuff. So
first of all, there's so many games you can play, like these big games solo, which is great because. Like, I'm probably not going to solo physically play Gaia Project, but I will on here. So I will say.
Hi, Charlie in chat.
Who in chat?
Stupid Rat Creature. That's who I played games.
Stupid Rat Creature. Also our February sponsor, by the way.
To be honest, I guess I'm not trying.
A couple here. Heat works really well because the solo for Heat's great. It's a Wonderful World. Let's Go to Japan works well, and the solo is actually kind of interesting because you're basically playing cards to the opponent, so you're trying not to do well for them.
Interesting.
Gaia Project works really well. Acropolis has a cool solo, and at least in the box originally, maybe with the expansion, it's not a soloable game, so it's cool you can solo it. Maracaibo, I think you can play through the kind of campaign. Let me double check that. I could be wrong about that. But if you can, that'd be a great way to play through the campaign of that, which is cool. Guild of Merchant Explorers is fantastic. Clans of Caledonia, those are some of them. I will still mostly play multiplayer.
Middle Class Joe said Turing Machine. Turing Machine is a better solo game in general.
Agreed.
Because it's just a solo puzzle.
I've been playing the Dead Cells board game solo because it's. I played a couple of runs of it, just because it's going to be easier to accomplish than playing with folks, and that's been really fun.
I really like that game.
And you can kind of reset your campaign and it saves your progress. I was like, oh, that's cool.
What's up, Paul?
There's quite a few.
A lot of people saying Feast for Odin. Feast for Odin's a great solo game. It's one of my favorite solo games, period.
I've soloed that on BGA, and it works great.
It's such a simple thing. You just block yourself. I think it's such a brilliant solo, even though it's very simple.
Yeah, beautifully simple, right?
Sweetie said, been watching these guys the whole day at work and stuff, and I missed the live sesh. Well, you're still here, so we're fine. Stuart said, I really enjoyed the Prodigals Club video. Can we expect more narrative-style videos from y'all? Hope it performed well. It did perform well enough for us to keep doing them.
10,000, I think, so far?
Yeah, so far, which is good. It hasn't crushed, but it's done well. And Pete, the response to that video has been very, very good. People
overwhelmingly
really,
positive.
really like it. There's been an absolute avalanche of comments.
Colton, you know what I mean?
It's it's been very, very cool to see the response for it. Yeah, so we
wanted a lot of passion.
It was a lot of work to do it. So we won't. People are like, I hope you don't like. I love this format, but don't do this all the time. We're like, we literally couldn't. Like, it took me almost a month to make that video.
It really did, yeah.
So don't worry. Our this kind of content isn't going to change. But yeah, I would love to do one of those videos a month. That's my goal.
That'd be cool.
And it's one of us, or maybe sometimes we'll both do it together. But a lot of times those will kind of be solo projects because it's like I want to talk about this thing. Yeah. And so
the next one of that will be in that vein. It won't be like exactly the way Nick did it, but will be my kind of comprehensive coverage and ranking of the South Tigris trilogy
but it was
from
really
Garfield
fun.
Games.
It was
expansions included, so I'm going to kind of go through it all.
It was good. It was fun to, you know, we built this studio with videos like that in mind. Like that was kind of the reason why we got a bigger studio. The reason why we have so many different sets is because we're like, for these kinds of videos, we want like, again, sometimes, not all the time, but like more highly produced videos where you're moving around in different sets, shooting at all these different angles. And I finally got to do that because we hadn't really had a chance to do that yet, even though we've been here for like over 6 months. And so it was really, really fun to do. A ton of work, but yeah, so thank you for liking it, and thank you for everyone who watched it.
Steve says, I just played Unconscious Mind solo. How'd you like it solo?
Oh, interesting.
I really want to play the finished product of that game really bad. That's like high on my want to play list. And Steve, are you going to Dice Tower West? I can't remember.
Yes,
Did he say he was?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yes.
Matthew Rose, have a good birthday. Happy
birthday. Oh my gosh.
Indeed. So, Paul said, yo, Castell is so cool. I'm trying to put together a Castell card game for Gamehead. Stay tuned on that. Interesting. I love Castell. We're going to try and stream this one soon.
Hey, are you building like a card pyramid?
That'd be cool. It would make sense.
A Castell card game, yes, please. Castell is such a cool game. It's such a cool game about such a cool thing. I mean, like a really interesting cultural thing. Castell is a... Yeah, man, we've been singing the praises of that one for a long time.
It's great.
It kind of popped and then went away.
Yeah, it was.
We're like, no, it's really good. Stay.
Yeah, we were kind of. Yeah, us and Crystal Dax were the people who really sung that game's praises.
Yeah,
so
I think it's really cool. I think it's a dope game.
Yeah, it's good.
The card game version would be amazing.
It would be cool. All right, y'all. For some of your questions, we'll probably get on out of here. And I hope y'all have a great rest of your day.
Enjoy the
make
heck
sure
out of your
like this video, subscribe if you haven't, and
subscribe. Yeah. Oh, quickly, can you name our new patrons?
Oh yes, thank you. I forgot to do that.
So we mentioned at the start, and I kind of just
started
getting into it, moving forward. So we always thank our new patrons during our rapid review since our last time we did this. So thank you for anyone that, current, new, former patron. Just the fact that you watch these videos and thumb them up and comment and share and stuff is support enough. So this is a nice bonus. Who we got next?
We got Ryan Patton, Ashton Anderson, Jenny Emmerich, Frode Vincenzo Denelson, Zach Riddle, Toyo, and Ryan Wampelman.
Thank you, everybody.
Great
we appreciate it.
Thank you so much, y'all. We really appreciate you. I hope y'all have a wonderful rest of your day.
Stay warm if you're in the Northern Hemisphere.